Hi. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SoulJourney. Today I have Kamaljeet over here, and we'll be going over Chapter 8, and that's Different Dimensions of Souls and the Journey Between the Stars. And so, Kamaljeet, it's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm good, Vani. Thank you for having me again. It's been really a long break and
It's
good to see you too. I'm
been
happy to see you.
okay, same here. So, are you able to give us a brief gist on what the chapter is all about and what Bapuji is discussing over here?
Yeah, this chapter is a beautiful chapter. It talks about the ancient times when the saints and the sages walked the earth.
Mhm.
And in fact, the world was, even the lifespan, they say, of people was more than thousands of years. It was
Mhm.
because of the purity in the elements. And the deities whom we also call as devatas, uh, they used to come to earth from heavenly realms, from the higher realms, and they used to transform as human beings on earth. And they used to transform their three elemental body, because the subtle realm has got three elements, and the human body, if you recall, we were talking about, is made up of five elements, five tattvas. So they used to transform their three elemental body into a human form of five elements till their purpose of visit on earth was completed. Generally, their purpose of earth, I would not say generally, originally it was to visit earth, because earth, when it was created, it was very beautiful, and all these higher beings of light used to come and visit, travel, enjoy the scenic beauty, enjoy the waters, and go back. But then there were many other things that happened. There were wars on earth between beings, and different beings from other planets have also inhabited earth at different times. And these devatas used to come. They had many different purposes to help the human beings to elevate, take charge of the responsibility, to support them during these period of difficult times. But like again, I said, these devatas did not really take birth as human bodies, but they used to manifest, transform into human bodies. And there are certain, these are all recorded in the ancient, scriptures, shastras, about, apsaras who used to come from the heavenly realm, and they used to come and dance around here, frolic in the lakes. These stories and songs are there, from that they used to come from a realm called the Swargalok, or the
Okay.
heavenly realm.
Mhm.
And then there was this a saint, sage by the name of Narad Muni, and he was a very interesting. He was a divine being for sure, but he was very smart also intellectually. Like, he would gather all the information, he would share it with people. Kind of, some people have said that he was a very clever, kind of not very trustworthy. He can, share your secrets just to incite some, evoke some negative emotions, or change the thoughts of a person. But then he used to travel from one loka to another. One loka is the realm, one realm to another in an
So did
instant.
he come from the divine realm or was he
Yes, he also came from the, because he also came from the higher realms.
Mhm.
Also came because he was a very highly evolved supreme being. But
Yeah.
then that was his nature. There was a reason, one, if one has to look into it, there probably must be a reason why he shared with people what he did, why he did. Because
Mhm.
every being who is born on this planet has a role, and we all have to realize what is our purpose in life, and we have to
Yeah.
wake up to that. So,
Mhm.
so there are different things that happen to us, only not to hurt us, but
Mhm.
only to help us awaken to our inner truth. and that was probably his way of doing things.
Right.
But we, these are certain things which we can only explore when we go deep within ourselves. So he could go to Vishnu Puri, Brahma Puri, he would come down to the earth plane, he would even go down to the lower world, the Patal world, where
Okay.
the negative entities and the asurs were there. And Narad Muni was an elevated being. He was a
Mhm.
deity for sure. But again, he could not go to the highest abode. Highest abode of the Creator, that is the Param Dham. He
Mhm.
could not go there because in order to go to Param Dham, the soul has to be in pure consciousness, pure soul consciousness, or in the incorporeal state, that is called the Nirakari state. That is the total, it's formless, it is devoid of any emotions, it is, it is soul truth. That's all that is. It is soul consciousness.
Mhm.
So so this is one quality of Narad Muni, that he could just travel. That was his, quality in him as being a superior being. He could travel. So, like coming from different dimensions, he could travel to Earth and many other dimensions, wherever he wanted to. And there's another famous instant, there are, in fact, even, Lord Vishnu, about people really believe, and he has a realm of his own,
Yeah.
right? Very
Mhm.
a higher realm of his own, and he used to travel in his in a vehicle that we today we call these as UFOs. And
Yeah.
so used to be, this was known as the Garud Vimana, or the
Yeah.
eagle shaped,
Mhm.
yeah.
I was watching some older documentaries, and then I saw those Vimanas that they were talking about, and how they would like fly into the air, and they were used by gods. They were like little pyramids, and well, not a full pyramid, but then like they were like little flying saucers shaped like a pyramid. And so we have those depictions on ancient ruins in India. So yeah, that was really cool. I saw that in the
Yeah,
sea.
yeah, these are all very interesting things. So, he used to travel in this Garud Vimana. It was an eagle-shaped flying object or
Mhm.
vehicle. And he used to travel in his, and likewise, Lord Brahma also, he used to also travel in his swan-shaped vehicle from Brahma Puri to Earth. Brahma is the creator, so like he used to travel from Brahma Puri to Earth in that vehicle.
Mhm.
And there are other negative, the Demon King, historical, it's a historical story of the Ramayana, where one Ravana was the Demon King. He was the Demon King, and but then he used to travel. He in his UFO, or the vehicle that is known as the Pushpak Vimana, and he is also known as Trilokinath because he could travel anywhere. He had control of all the worlds, all the three worlds. He had the powers to influence all these worlds. But and these subtle vehicles, these UFOs of the deities, are made up of very special elements of Vayu Tattva, or the air element, and they can travel into the three worlds of Swargloka and the Bhuloka. This is here, and then it is below the Bhulok, that is below the planet Earth, that goes to Patal. So the three realms commonly known as, one is the balanced neutral, you can say the Bhulok,
Yeah.
then there is the Swargloka on top of it, of the heavenly worlds, then there is the negative world, right? So he could travel on in all these places with his Pushpak Viman. And just with the power of affirmations, he could do that. And he could also, he could also increase and decrease the size of that vehicle with the affirmations. And affirmations, these are also known as intentions or the sankalp. Intentions or these sankalp. That is why Bapuji also says your thoughts and sankalp are very, very important. Every thought you make is creating space, is something like that, is a powerful energy. It creates a vibration and energy. So you have to be very careful. And so that this energy would generate and could manifest this vehicle, Pushpak Vimana, in the atmosphere. And so this depends, again, the power of because Ravana, he had attained these powers through his prayers and meditation and spiritual practices. And that is why he gained these powers, but then he used them for negative purposes. That's why things like he is considered as a demon king, right?
Yeah.
So and this is about the story of Ravana. And then there are, again, this was in the era of, when Ram and Ramayana story was happening. Ravan was
When was that? Was that like... So the Ramayana, I think it started, it's documented, and they said between the 5th and 7th BCE is when this happened.
Yeah, probably, yes. And then after that, Mahabharata, many years down, it's more close to our times. Mahabharata happened. This was the era of Mahabharata, when the gods and goddesses would travel to any place on the earth too. They could do that. And the demigods could also be called by the power of mantras. There are many small stories in the Mahabharata itself, where there have been childbirth and people just moving from one place to another. Even the presence of Lord Krishna during that time was a miracle. Like, his actions and when one reads the Bhagavad Gita, one will realize that how much depth he has given to that time and to life itself. So it's all these things could happen because of the power of mantras, though he has said that you need to live your life with your karmic actions. You can't misuse mantras. Misuse mantras can be even for good purposes and for bad purposes. So this is what is very clearly mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita by Sri Krishna. And but then this is also a fact that through the power of vibrations of the mantras, gods would be compelled to be present at specific place on earth instantaneously, because they needed to perform certain duties, some tasks. And in this chapter 8, a list of a list of deities has been also given, who would control the earth. I will just mention a few common names. One is Lord Indra, the king of gods and deities in heaven. And then is the Varuna Dev, god of the oceans. And he was originally also connected to the sky, the realm of the sky. And then there are these twins called Ashwani Kumara, the gods associated with medicine, health, and dawn and sciences. They are very well known. And then 11 Rudras, the forms of Rudra Shiva, meant for destructing evil entities, because they also, it is also mentioned that Shiva himself created the negative entities, because there is a story, there is a reason, purpose behind everything. So everything becomes a part of the creation. So then, there is this God Vishnu, of course, the supreme being who is the preserver of the entire solar system, the Brahmand. And then there is God Shankara and Goddess Parvati. And Shankara is the god of destruction, and Mata, the goddess Parvati, his consort is the consort of Lord Shankar. And like that, then there is Lakshmi, who is the goddess of wealth, fortune, and power. All these people had their own vehicles, to travel. So then there is goddess Devi Ganga. She was one of the chief goddesses, but she was cursed by Lord Indra at one time. And then she had to come down to the mortal earth. So, because of many, it has been noted that in order to destroy ego and sinful actions of the gods and goddesses, the superior gods, would send them to earth to punish them so that their egos get melted down.
Yeah.
So this was a little bit about the chapter 8, and then then later on, Bapuji has revealed some mysteries.
So in chapter 8, Bapuji, there is a section which says some mysteries revealed. So within that, he's discussing about his mother and her divine experience. Are you able to elaborate more on that?
Yes, when Bapuji as a child, in fact, he himself was, he had, because he was an evolved child from the beginning, by birth, he was an evolved child. He himself had very beautiful divine experiences. He could see many things what a normal person would never see, and he would be able to talk and converse with them. But then his mother was a very, very evolved being, and she had revealed to the family that the goddess and people in the village, around wherever they were staying, they were aware of his mother's divinity. And she would say that goddess Jogini Ma would take his mother, Bapuji's mother, on a divine chariot for journeys into higher dimensions, and she would tell them that not to disturb her body, not to disturb her. She will not be there, but not to disturb her physical body, and they would keep the body safely and was well guarded by the family. But she would travel for 3 days in the higher realms. And after 3 days, his Bapuji's mother would come back into a physical body. And there are also experiences of other people from the village. They would come and tell her that, that you were there, you are sitting here, but then you helped me right now in the farms. She says, no, I was not there. It must be Jogini Ma, like.
Who's that?
Jogini Ma was the deity, the goddess. Who would accompany, who would take Bapuji's mother into the higher realms. But these experiences were shared by other people from the village, other women from the village, because somebody needed help at a particular time or anywhere at any time or place. She would appear as to them as Bapuji's mother and would help that person and go. And but a few minutes later, the person would see her sitting in her own house. They said, "You just now you were there in the farm, when you are here too." She says, "No, it was not me. It was the goddess who helped you. I was not there." So the goddess assumed the mother. So these things, these are mysterious things, but these things have happened. And in fact, if you have heard about the Andromeda galaxy, Bapu, there is a video about very long video, very interesting video about the Andromeda galaxy by Bapuji. And but he has said that goddess Mandakini had originally come to Earth, to our planet Earth, from the Andromeda galaxy. And after her mission was over, she went back to her galaxy. So these, And the Bhagavad Gita mentions Mandakini as one of the most sacred rivers of the Hindus. And according to one myth, that Mandakini was brought down from heaven to earth by Sati Anusaya. Again, this is another character, and she who Anusaya was a character who was sitting in meditation to save. There is this place called Chitrakoot, and it was starving, and he wanted to save that place. So he was sitting in meditation. So she was brought down to affect this person's meditation. So these things have happened, and highly evolved souls are able to travel. In fact, we keep Bapuji has been saying that people will be seeing all these highly evolved beings very soon, and there will be alien encounters as well. It's just maybe a few months to less than a year or a little over a year, around very soon. I think people have prophesied that. These are there. In fact, souls use their energy, since there is in the higher realms, souls keep traveling from one solar system to another, one Brahmand to another. Please look at the space they are traveling, and it is done in a very short moment, because one is that their body is very light, and secondly, it works with the power of intention. It works, the movement is with the power of sankalp, thought, and it happens. So this is how the traveling souls do not go below the atmospheric layer of 200 kilometers above the Earth's surface, and the souls do not even travel below the dimension of the Swarglok, because they know that they can. It is very. It would be self-destructive for them if they travel below the heavenly realm. Then they will get trapped in the world of illusion till Swarglok, or till the heavenly realm. There is this thing that is called Maya, or illusion. Like we all get enamored by beauty and power of getting something in our life. So it could be money, it could be passion, it could be anything. And this is all Maya, and it's all temporary. The moment you leave this 5 elemental body, you can't make use of any of those things. So the people, the highly evolved beings, they do not like to come down.
Fair enough.
Yeah, because they're aware, and that is how human beings on Earth also lost their power. When they originally inhabited the Earth, they could live for thousands and thousands of years. Yeah. So what determines the power of the soul is the power, first of all. Because I just mentioned that they lose their power, over the period of time, because originally they lost their power because it split into multiple souls, right? It created it, and then again created, so it lost its power during that creation. And so beings on Earth are from a superior soul, but yet that soul doesn't have much power, right? We say that this Brahmand is of through the power of Shiv, it has been it was created. Then Brahma was there. Then all these other beings have come into form, and the deity who would get the thing moving was the feminine aspect. Means from Shiv, a feminine aspect is the Shakti is created, and Shakti is the one that does everything.
Mm.
But these souls, they lose their power. The more intentions you build in your body, the more sankalps you have in your body, the more power you lose, because you're giving energy to that.
Wait, so you should not have intentions?
Have as minimum intention as possible. Too much of planning, that is why, Bapuji says that do not have cravings and do not have, live your life, what you need to do it. But, you can also be focused on what career you are choosing, but do not give your mind and energy totally to some futile things, just objects of pleasure, and you're wasting your energy. You're wasting your superior soul energy in that. So right now, in fact, he is encouraging everyone to come back to their soul self, come back to the Atma Swarup through the meditative practices which he has taught, so that the soul regains that power. There is a way to do it, and so you regain that power, and not to waste it, and use it for the betterment of the planet or the other realms outside, because everyone is going at war. Currently, the situation is in every direction. If we see on planet Earth, we see there are wars happening.
Yeah.
Right. So the energy is being lost for destruction, and how to calm it down, we have to send vibration. So the intention has to be very powerful to create a momentum of peace and joy and prosperity. So this is a little bit about chapter 8, and I would really encourage everyone to read the book. Like there are quite a few things. There's another thing which I want to, very interesting thing that Bapuji has mentioned in this chapter about a Dogon tribe from West Africa. West Africa, the country is Mali.
Yeah.
And these people claim that they have the knowledge of Sirius A and Sirius B. These are stars.
Yeah.
Stars, and they also know about the orbit cycles of these stars, and they are connected to them somehow. And they claim that this knowledge has come to them because their ancestors have come from from these stars.
Okay.
Yeah, and they claim that their knowledge of astronomy involves contact with extraterrestrial life dating back to around 3200 BC.
Okay.
One of the theories to explain Dogon's advanced knowledge of astronomy is that alien life visited the Dogon people long ago and taught them about astronomy. And this is backed by stories that the Dogon passed down from generation to generation, and they refer to these extraterrestrial terrestrial beings as nomos. Nomos, yeah.
Okay.
So this is a lot about these extra terrestrial beings. It's very interesting. This chapter is very, very interesting. In fact, in the chapter 9, Bapuji has explained more about the extraterrestrial worlds and civilizations in them. His videos are also there, on YouTube in his channel, Bapuji Dashrathbhai Patel. And his son Anand Bhai has discussed extensively about these worlds with him.
Yeah. And that's going to be very interesting when people start coming out with the actual facts and pictures and everything of the aliens. I don't know when that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think we'll get to know many things very soon now. So many people on in the world, they are getting signals because they are evolved. They have worked on themselves, if not in this lifetime, in previous lifetimes. They simply can see and they get these visions. There are some psychics who share many things.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's see.
Yeah. There's a lot out there. Yeah, there's a lot of information, a lot of people saying different things, and it's very interesting. So, well, thank you so much for sharing and discussing the chapter with us, and stay tuned, and thank you for thank you, Kamaljeet. That concludes chapter 8 for us, and thank you to everybody who's been watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And we'll join you soon for chapter 9. We'll go over that in a bit more detail than this one. So thank you, Kamaljeet, for sharing the chapter with us. And stay tuned. And next week, we'll be discussing the extraterrestrial worlds and civilizations in them. That's chapter 9. Thank you for watching the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned. Thank you.
Thank you.